Good day, my friends. It's your old pal Jordan the Lion. I hope you're all doing well today. We're going to have a great day. We are invited to go over to guitar icon Bruce Kulick's house, and he's going to show us some of his favorite memorabilia around his house and some of the things that kind of make Bruce who he is. Days with Jordan the Lion, it begins right now. All right, today we are back over at Bruce Kulick's house, and he is going to show us some of his favorite mementos. Bruce, what is that right beside you, right off the bat?
You know, I have to admit, I've never owned a mannequin before, but I'm very proud to have my iconic Radioactive suit. There I am back in '87 performing with a guitar I'll show you later too, but there's the suit. This was a custom graphic from one of the skateboard companies, and it was made for me, and I did videos, like the video for Crazy Crazy Nights was in this suit, and to have it in my home, it was something that I gifted to someone years ago, a fan, and it was very great that I was able to eventually get it back into my, collection. So Lisa and I bought a mannequin. I even got sneakers that were era correct-ish looking, and there it is, with a red shirt. So what a cool item. Somebody in Uruguay even gave me a little doll of me performing in that look. So Blackjack we talked about, and here's one of the sheet music, Love Me Tonight, the first single, and here's an 8x10 that's framed. This was a big promotional card that, the first album looked like a deck of cards, which you can see there.
And that was with Michael Bolton.
And there was Michael. Yep. So we have a couple of signed that's a signed 8x10 from Eric Carr, who was the drummer that died in '91, sadly. And there's a painting of him, half makeup, half without. Another one of him. Oh, that one's signed too, actually. And that's a new one that his sister has been offering, which is me and him in London during one of the, I think it was one of the videos. And that's a beautiful painting of Eric on a drum head. That's kind of cool. So Lisa and I still are, I did a lot of work with Eric. That's the cover of a record that was put out recently that I produced, music that I wrote with him. So that's really cool. Rockology. So I love having, media centers and everything to show things I love, and being so influenced by the Beatles. These are those original Remco Beatle dolls that came out in the 60s. They're so cool. Behind there are some Blackjack items too, and vintage guitar strings. These are all my passions. Lisa does such a great job in displaying things.
I love this. This is Bruce's vault from Gene, the Gene Simmons vault, and it says, "You're Jewish and so am I."
That's the very first gold record I got from Meatloaf. I love that it's oversized like that. That might be a Canadian award, actually, but the band is the photo below it. You'll see a great 8x10 with the crew and everything. And then below it's the American gold record. Yeah, to have these since 1979-80 is really great. I'm very proud of them.
Of course, Bruce has been with Grand Funk for 20 years, Bruce?
20 years now.
And then I'm betting Bruce probably never thought he was going to have Kanye West hanging in his home, but that was the Blackjack sample, correct?
A song called Never Let Me Down from the second record.
As we know, Kanye is one of the biggest names in the world. Here we have quite a large selection of some of Bruce's jewelry. Bruce, do you want to tell us about some of this?
So this Concho belt has been around a long time in my Kiss years, from the first, almost the earliest photo shoots till later on. Love that belt. And that was another one that I let go of, that I fortunately, someone wanted to, offer it back to the world, and I made sure it came back to me. A lot of these bracelets are through the years, but probably some of the strongest, most well-known, one of those, the big silver one, even Gene wore. This was on the back of the Crazy Nights album, and some of those rings are from Revenge era. And then when you look at the peace sign, that was worn a lot during the Hot in the Shade tour. And all these pieces, you know, from the beads and the teardrop thing, and they were just all known for certain iconic photos of myself, and I obviously am grateful I have these, although I regret that there's quite a few that I don't have anymore.
You know what's cool is that now people have stylists that just give them, hey, put this on for the photo, and they never even owned it. It wasn't even part of their thing. You actually were wearing stuff that was yours.
Yeah,
I love that.
I would go shopping on Melrose in Los Angeles, and I certainly, and the band used to share it. Like when I mentioned one of those, you know, I could show you a picture with Gene wearing it, and it was just a case of, why not? It's a photo shoot, you know.
Oh yeah, there's a peace sign. We can see that necklace here as well. Then there you can see Bruce wearing the bracelets in that photo.
There's a really fantastic, you know, vest and pants that, you know, I have now that I'm really happy to have. This is from the Hot in the Shade tour, and I have a great photo of it that I can show you where I'm wearing it together. Sometimes I wore this pants with a different kind of vest, but it's really great to have this, you know.
Yeah, it's a great costume.
Yeah, this one has the designer Audrey Carter, who made a lot of cool things. I love those, you know,
almost like Matador pants.
Yeah, but you know what's crazy? The craziest thing about these two things, Jordan, this one and the Radioactive man, is the waist is 30. I'm definitely like a 34, but back then, 30.
I love it though, Bruce, because now, you know, you see bands play and they almost don't even believe in stage wear. They just wear whatever they're wearing on the street, and you guys actually did stage wear.
I love how we wanted always to be like performers, you know, and that takes some effort.
Oh yeah, take a look. Look at the vest and the pants here. That's what we just saw.
That bracelet and necklace. There's one of the times I met Tony Bennett. And here's your buddy Eric and Lita Ford.
And Tony Bennett. Band signed cover.
Yeah, that's on a record flat.
Can you tell me about this night? The Unplugged night? What was expected? What did you guys think was going to happen?
Well, we knew that it would go over amazing, especially with the reunion happening, but the band with Eric Singer and myself were very, very strong because we were doing convention tours and we were playing Unplugged. And then to have those MTV cameras at the Sony studio capture us the way they did. I mean, look at the background on the photo below there, which is, you know, just a solo shot of me. It was so special. So that's technically my last big performance with the band, and probably one of my favorite that I ever did, and I'm so glad it was captured.
Me too. I absolutely love the Unplugged series. I think you guys did one of the best ones ever.
Thanks.
Look at that. Certified Gold Video Award for it.
And this would be the gold record for it. With a signed picture disc. To now take photo of Carnival of Souls album cover, but that guitar and that strap I still own, fortunately.
That is great. Yeah, we saw the alternate photo with that guitar we're gonna see. That's the one that we all know, the one that you see in stores. So Bruce, what's this one in the middle?
So the one in the middle is one of 6 that was offered to the band right during the Hot in the Shade, and that's why the last record on there from the Kiss catalog is Hot in the Shade, actually, although all the album covers are mixed up. And Gene proudly shows that a lot in his, he does sometimes these publicity pictures where that giant 30 platinum album is behind him. The Kiss sign actually kind of lights. There were these LEDs that are behind the albums, but it's not, I have that unplugged right now, so it's not something I could show you lit, but it's a pretty rare item and probably my favorite of all of them, only because it's from my era and 30 platinum, which is really impressive.
Yeah. How many bands can say that they have 30 platinum records?
And obviously the band continued with more and more after that, because then there would have been After Hot in the Shade, there's, Revenge and Onward, Unplugged.
The Eric Singer years.
Yeah. I have framed.
That's a great
sometimes
photo.
we're coming down this pod from the lighting truss rod. The light truss from above, which was something they incorporated into a show in their makeup years more recently too. So that's one of the photos, an alternate or possibly the photo from the Creatures of Night redo album cover. And that was taken by Niels Lozauer, a real famous rock photographer. Gene's actually wearing one of the necklaces that I told you about in that picture, and I think I have the Concho belt, but it's hard to see with my hands in my pockets. So that was done by this artist, Wilkinson, this guy Wilkinson. And I never had a solo record, but he created it as if I did, and people love that. It's pretty funny.
That's a great one.
I like the way he used the KISS logo and my name in the upper right. I have to admit, I just have this extreme passion for Frank Sinatra. I just think his voice is incredible, and I got so, curious about his entire career. And all bands that I studied before, the Beatles, my passion for Beatles and Hendrix and everything, I knew just about everything about them. But Frank's career really, really went on for so many years, as you know. And I remember in the beginning, because Lisa loves the Great American Songbook and these kind of artists, I wasn't really sure what I really loved, but it turns out that so much of Frank's catalog is just incredible to me. My favorite's really the 50s, when he was at Capitol Records, and some of those records, like that's when I would get every box set available. That's this, what can I say? This is one of my favorite records. Anything Capitol era. But then I'll have to find, and I'll stump some friends who are collectors too, like, do you have the Reprise Repertory Theater box set? And this is the vinyl. I had to get the vinyl, which cost money. This is my latest box set I got, which is a British release, Sinatra, the Capitol Years. So it's just all the releases from that era, and I have a beautiful stereo. I love the vinyl, but that's a new book I found recently that's got great pop-ups in it, and it came with a CD with some really rare things. This is an unusual 57 concert. These are bootlegs I found really recently, 55 and 53, and they're really good. The 45s,
What is it that grabs you about Frank?
Well, there's two things. First of all, he always did cover the great songs, and it's very different from rock and roll. But it's melody and the lyrics are great. Even though my wife Lisa always laughs that I never really know the lyrics, but I love the songs. These are great songs that will live forever. His phrasing and the tone of his voice, I literally can cry. Okay, listening to it. It means a lot to me. And I've even given that advice to people, guitar players, who say, like, who are you listening to? And they're thinking I'm going to say, some hotshot guitar player or some other guy, and sometimes I'll just say Frank Sinatra. Well, what do you mean? I go, well, listen to his phrasing. Because then again, you can always apply. I had a jazz guitar teacher who told me to listen to a sax player. Don't listen to guitar players. Listen to the chordal arrangements from a piano. So I find that besides his tone of his voice being incredible to me, and affects me just like the greatest Beatles stuff, the way McCartney did, and Lennon, and some of those performances that we know from all the bands that I love. But Frank's consistent catalog and the passion in his song choice to his vocal abilities is I just call him the greatest singer in the world. And I know there's this kind of funny saying with Frank, something about, may my voice be the last one you hear. And I'd like to go on record saying, besides my wife's, I'd like it to be Frank Sinatra's.
That's great. It's funny. I heard one of my favorite singers, I think the reason I like him is because of the way he phrases. And it's Willie Nelson. Yes. And when they were asking him, who do you think's the greatest singer? He said, without a doubt, Frank Sinatra.
Yes.
I just love that. Somebody that iconic that did it his own complete way is now calling Frank Sinatra the man.
Yep. And preparing to show you some of my stuff, I didn't realize how many reel-to-reels I had of Frank, which is kind of an unusual item, of course. Reel-to-reels are fun because I love analog tape and everything. I even found this popular music of American Airlines. I was telling my wife recently how I got all these these reel-to-reel 7-inch tapes from like a vacuum cleaner. salesman who had a whole box, and I bought the entire box. Now, my wife, you know, of course, you love her bling art.
Of course.
We have to put the Las Vegas sign artwork near the Frank collection. And I'm just sharing a bit of the Frank stuff here, but just to give you a sampling of what I've been collecting. How about a wedding gift from a autograph salesman guy who I met at these Hollywood convention shows, and we kept in touch because I saw this at one of the shows, and loving the Rat Pack and Frank and all, I knew how much my wife loves Dean Martin. I told him I wanted to get this from him for her wedding gift from me, and then he wound up gifting it to us as a wedding gift. So very, very classy of Myron over in Encino to do that for me from his you know, own collection.
That's
very
great.
Cool. Yeah, and I had it authenticated, you know, because of you know, when you want to insure things, and it's real. I felt it was real right away, but it was checked by these people who do the Butterfield stuff. So that's probably the most, the fact that it has Sammy on it, and Dean, and of course Frank.
Yeah, there's Frank's autograph right there, 1990. Well, my friends, I hope you enjoyed this great day with Bruce Kulick. Thank you all for watching. We'll catch you all next time. Have a great night, and goodbye.